feels, well, bigger than just a small car. It's about the launch of a really revolutionary vehicle concept coming out of Italy.
Right.
One that doesn't just, go electric, but seems to actively push back against maybe 50 years of car design philosophy.
Exactly. We're talking about the Mole Urbana. It's an all-electric microcar, or technically a quadricycle that's just started production near Turin.
And our sources today, they aren't just spec sheets. They really detail the industrial side, the philosophy, the tech significance of this whole Made in Italy project.
Hmm.
So our mission is to understand why this pretty radical commitment to simplicity and sustainability is happening right there in one of Italy's most, historic and lately hardest hit auto regions.
Yeah, going beyond just the headlines.
We want to get into what makes these little microcars such a huge, maybe even provocative statement about where city transport might be headed.
And that provocation, that's exactly why you should care. I mean, for decades, the trend's been clear, right? Bigger, heavier, more complex,
They're expensive.
definitely more expensive. Mole Urbana just challenges that whole model. They're basically arguing that the future of getting around in cities is fundamentally less car, not more.
Interesting.
So this project, it's about rebirth, industrial rebirth, and deliberately building this radically green national supply chain, right, where people thought Italian auto expertise had, well, almost vanished.
Okay, let's zero in on the location first. The person driving this, Umberto Palermo, he's a well-known designer and entrepreneur, but the place he picked, that really feels like a statement to the Italian industry.
Oh, absolutely. The factory itself, it's in Orbassano. That's
Yeah.
right, in the Turin province, I mean, the historic heartland of Italian car making.
Right.
And crucially, they set up at the old Blue Tech plant, formerly Stola.
Hmm.
That place had been hit hard by industrial crisis for years. So choosing that spot isn't just practical, it's a really deliberate signal of renaissance.
And having the environment minister at the launch, that kind of underlines it, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows this isn't just seen as some small regional factory. It's being treated as a project with national importance.
And that national importance, it seems tied to Palermo's goal. Create a new automotive hub built on an entirely national supply chain. He calls it Filiera Made in Italy. What does that actually mean for you, the listener, building a truly national supply chain today, given how globalized everything is?
Well, it means taking on huge risk, both logistically and financially. But the potential reward is also huge. The main challenge, rebuilding skills and capacity that were lost or moved overseas.
Because most car making now relies on these massive global networks.
Exactly. Complex outsourcing.
Hmm.
Palermo's trying to minimize that. He wants to source steel, aluminum, components, specialized skills all within Italy, specifically Piedmont, where the factory is, and the Marche region, where some private investors are based.
But hang on, if the goal is rebirth and scaling up, they're talking 5,000 units a year, isn't relying on a brand new national supply chain fundamentally trickier, maybe less scalable than just plugging into existing global ones? Are they trading efficiency for this made in Italy ideal?
That's the trade-off, definitely. And that's precisely where the public and regional support becomes so critical.
Ah, the funding.
Yeah, the sources really stress the funding from CDP Venture Capital, using their Green Transition Fund and the Piedmont Next Fund, plus Finpiemonte, the regional agency.
So it's not just private money.
No, it's strategic state backing. It's
So-
designed to sort of de-risk the whole effort of rebuilding that industrial competence locally. The target is 7 million euros, half already raised. It suggests the government sees real long-term value in fostering this kind of decentralized green manufacturing, even if it's harder initially than the old multinational way.
Okay, that public support adds weight. And clearly, the local workforce sees something in it too. They're starting small, just 30 employees, but aiming for 80 to 100 quickly. And the detail that jumped out at me, 500 resumes landed on their desk almost right away.
That says a lot, doesn't it? It speaks volumes about the local hunger for good, skilled industrial jobs after years of downturn in that area.
So just the talent pool is there, waiting.
Exactly. Ready to jump into this new manufacturing approach. And the fact that the funding mixes private money from the Marche region with Piedmont's industrial history, it makes it feel like a genuine north-south national effort, building something scalable and sustainable.
All right, let's shift gears from the business side to the actual product philosophy, because here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The whole design concept is inspired by Japanese kei cars, those tiny, efficient city cars. It feels like a deliberate step back towards simplicity.
It is. And it's based on their analysis of, well, car history. Palermo's team looked at how cars evolved from just essential transport
Right, the basic function.
and saw how that original mission can kind of corrupted. This constant chase for extreme comfort, more power, unnecessary features. It just made vehicles bigger, heavier, and way less efficient.
So Mole Urbana is a conscious rejection of that.
A very conscious, focused pivot back towards simplicity over complexity. They want lightweight, streamlined, versatile designs that actually fit city life without all the excess baggage.
But, people today are pretty used to all the modern comforts and safety tech. If you simplify things that radically, aren't you potentially sacrificing what buyers expect now?
They're definitely making a calculated bet on comfort. They're betting that for city use, people will prioritize agility, efficiency, and maybe most importantly, cost.
Okay.
But that simplicity allows them to pour resources into something else, radically green manufacturing. This Orbassano site isn't your standard car plant. It's designed as a nanofactory, specifically built for low energy consumption.
How low energy? They talk about avoiding things like stamping presses. What does that actually mean in terms of like the energy footprint?
It's huge. Traditional car making uses massive stamping presses to shape metal body panels. That takes enormous amounts of energy, plus really expensive custom molds.
Right, I can picture that.
Mole Urbana just avoids that whole energy-hungry process. And polymer injection molds, too. Instead, they favor drawing, extrusion, and thermoforming.
Can you break those down quickly?
Sure. Extrusion is like forcing material through a shaped die, kind of like squeezing toothpaste. Thermoforming is heating sheets of plastic, like ABS, and then molding them, usually with less pressure than stamping.
Okay.
Both methods use just a fraction of the power needed for heavy metal stamping. It drastically cuts the factory's energy use and water use, too.
And the green approach goes beyond just the process, right? They actually reclaimed the building itself, took off 10,000 square meters of old asbestos roof.
And replace it with up to 10,000 square meters of solar panels.
Wow. That's clean energy literally paving over the past. A powerful symbol.
It really is.
Yeah.
And their material choices hammer this home. They're using recovered stainless steel, recycled aluminum, like actually from drink cans, recycled ABS plastic for body parts, even reclaimed wood for interior bits.
Closing the loop wherever they can.
Pretty much.
And maybe the most revolutionary part, something often missed with new EVs, is thinking about the end. The end of life.
Yes, that's crucial. They designed the components for maximum recyclability. Key point. Parts are made for easy, quick disassembly without complex glues or foams.
Why is that such a big deal?
Because adhesives and mixed materials are nightmare number one for recycling cars efficiently. By designing them out, Mole Urbana optimizes how much material can actually be recovered and reused. It's a genuinely sustainable approach across the vehicle's entire life.
Okay, so that focus on simplicity and sustainability leads us straight to the actual cars. Mole Urbana is launching, get this, a family of 12 modular electric models for 2025.
12, yeah.
Aiming for 5,000 units a year eventually. This isn't just one niche product, it's like a multi-pronged attack on the city mobility market.
That diversity is key for them, I think. By sharing one common platform, they spread the investment costs while hitting lots of different segments. You've got delivery companies needing cargo space.
Up to 4 cubic meters, the sources said.
Right. Then teenagers needing a safe first vehicle, professionals, families, even folks wanting a fun open-air car for, like, beach towns.
Some of the names are quite evocative. There's the Corriera, a micro shuttle, 4 seats. The Romantica, that's the retro convertible one.
Yeah.
The Pitbull, which sounds surprisingly tough, like an urban off-roader look. And the Lavoro cargo versions, carrying a decent payload, 450 kilos.
And being able to cover both commercial and personal use from one basic structure, that's their economic edge.
Right.
Speaking of that structure, let's talk engineering, because they make claims about simplicity, but also safety. At the heart of all 12 models is a stainless steel space frame chassis.
Okay, space frame chassis for our listeners, it sounds kind of high-tech, almost like a racing car thing, not a microcar. Why use that?
Because it provides incredible structural rigidity and passive safety. Think of it like a strong cage, which you do see in performance cars.
Got it.
The Mole Urbana has sturdy built-in roll bars, basically a strong skeleton. And that's what lets them claim superior safety in certain tests, specifically rollover resistance, compared to maybe some vehicles built with simpler ladder frames or the monocoque bodies you find in other small utility vehicles.
And powering these little fortress-like things, lithium iron phosphate batteries, LFP.
LSP. Increasingly common choice, actually. They offer good thermal stability, less fire risk, longer life, and they're generally cheaper than the nickel manganese cobalt, the NMC batteries.
Makes sense for an affordable city car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Smart choice. Plus, the batteries can be swapped, and they handle AC/DC charging up to 22 kilowatts, so flexible refueling options.
Let's quickly touch on the rules and regulations. These are quadricycles.
Yeah. Right. L6E and L7E categories. L6E is the lighter, lower power one. Kids as young as 14 can drive those in Italy. L7E is for the slightly heavier or more powerful versions, needing a driver aged 16 plus. That includes the Lavoro cargo models with the higher payload.
And that classification is important because
It keeps them out of the super complex, expensive regulations for full passenger cars. It opens up that youth market and in specific commercial niches.
practicality-wise, they're tiny. 3.3 meters long, about 10 feet, and really narrow, 1.3 meters. Perfect for, tight European streets and impossible parking spots.
Definitely. And super light, too, only 480 kilograms.
And the price reflects the simplicity.
It does. The range is quoted between 11,500 and 18,500 euros.
That's pretty accessible.
It's crucial. Compare that to the average cost of a full-size EV these days. Mole Urbana is offering something sustainable, durable, functional for city life at a price many more people can actually afford. Simplicity driving affordability.
Now, while the big push right now is clearly these quadricycles, Palermo's looking ahead too. They've shown off a concept, the Malaya concept, testing the waters for something bigger.
Yeah, Malaya is interesting. It's like a probe into a higher homologation class, designed for potentially extra urban use, meaning maybe highway capable.
Okay, that's a jump.
Big jump. It's envisioned as a 5-door, 5-seat family vehicle. That's a serious strategic step up from the small commercial and youth quadricycles.
Does it keep the same kind of design language, that boxy, unconventional look?
It does, yeah. Keeps that squared-off, nonconformist vibe of the Mole Urbana family.
Right.
But size-wise, how does it stack up against something familiar?
Good question.
Well, it's designed to be functional, but still minimal. It's 3.75 meters long, so still pretty compact by today's standards. But here's the interesting bit. It's only 1.45 meters high. That's actually shorter than the classic Fiat Panda.
Really? Shorter than a Panda.
Yeah. So they're still sticking to that philosophy. Maximize inside space without making the outside huge. It really is trying to be that kind of Italian key car, but for a wider audience.
And there's a little twist in the technical planning, isn't there? The platform is electric ready, obviously, but the sources mention it's open to diversely ecological propulsion. What does that mean?
That phrasing is, let's say, strategic. It hints that while battery electric is plan A, they haven't totally closed the door on exploring other things. Maybe alternative fuel combustion engines, think hydrogen, advanced biofuels for specific uses or markets down the line.
So not strictly EV only forever.
It shows a kind of pragmatic flexibility. The main goal seems to be selling vehicles made with their radical green manufacturing process. Maybe regardless of the exact energy source eventually used, it makes their whole industrial model more resilient, even if battery tech hits a snag or charging infrastructure lags behind. #outro.
So pulling it all together, what does this Mole Urbana project really signify? It feels like much more than just a clever little car. It seems like a real-world test case for blending deep industrial roots, Piedmont and Marche tradition, with very modern green tech and this decentralized, low-energy manufacturing idea.
Absolutely. And for you, the listener, what you're seeing here is a direct challenge to the way things are usually done. It presents a clear alternative path for city transport. Affordable, modular, built sustainably. It actively pushes back against the trend of huge, complex, often luxury EVs.
So the success of this new hub, it'll be a real bellwether.
Definitely. It'll show whether simplicity and affordability can genuinely disrupt an industry that's loved excess for so long.
Okay, final thought.
Well, the success of those first 12 simple quadricycles, that depends entirely on people actually buying and using them in cities. But just the fact that the Malaya concept exists, this 5-seater, potentially highway-capable car that still keeps that minimal footprint idea, it raises a big question for the future, doesn't it?
Which is
Is the future of the car going to be a full swing back to simple, functional micromobility like these quadricycles represent? Or is the kind of complexity needed for highway travel, like the bigger Malaya hints at, sort of the unavoidable next step if this approach is going to reach true mass adoption?
micro versus maybe mini?
Something like that. You now have the context to watch really closely which way this fascinating new Italian hub decides to go.